Look, man, continuing to be in denial is not going to help you. All right. Now, I understand the stoppage was premature and you felt you should have at least gotten an 8 count, a standing 8 count by Tony Weeks. I get all that. But you took your ass up there and you were still dismissive of Andre Ward. All right. You was presented a question when one of the reporters asked you a question whether you were hurt, whether you were tired or not in the 8th round. You gave a dumbass statement by saying, "Well, I was tired, but he didn't hurt me. I didn't feel no punches. He didn't hurt me, motherfucker." Everybody's seen that you took a crunching short right hook from Ward to the chin, and you were out on your feet when you took that shot. All right, you couldn't barely throw any shots back. You was trying to hold on. You couldn't hold on, Ward. He was, throwing combinations to the body upstairs. He was railing back to the ropes, man, and he had you pinned to the corner and finished you off with 3 uppercuts to the body. Even though I initially said there were left hooks, but they were uppercuts to the body and they were borderline punches, all right? Okay, you didn't complain about the stoppage, but what you did do, a man with all the bravado threatened to kill the man, you threatened to, to end his career and all that shit, right? Why the fuck you kept turning to the referee every time Ward threw a body shot on the belt line, huh? You know why you did that? Because you tried to employ the same tactics that Bernard Hopkins does when he knows he's in a tough fight. What did you do? You kept turning your back on Ward every time he threw that shot, which made no sense. I don't know why you kept doing that. But you were hoping that Tony Weeks would buy the fact that you was getting low blow, so that way he either, 1, deduct a point for Ward, or 2, get him or he'll disqualify him. So hopefully if he got a point deducted, that'll get Ward more timid to throwing body shots. So that way it gives you a chance to get back into the fight, to get Ward to fight the fight you want. That's what you were hoping for, but it didn't work, okay? And another thing I want to address is one thing too, is that when Ward was coming in the 8th round and he threw that right hook to the body, I thought that was a low blow, but I have to retract that comment. Actually, that was on the belt line, so that was legal. Now, the one thing I did not point out in my last video is that Sergey Kovalev, his trunks were way too high. It was way above the belly button, man. It was way too high, and Tony Weeks had warned him about that. So all those shots he was taking, they were on the belt line. There was one shot, I think it was in the 5th round, I think at the end of the 5th or 6th round, where Ward gave a left uppercut to the body. It was a little bit below the belt line, but it was not excessive, all right? So, yeah, that was one part that I did notice, okay? So anybody's going out there crying low blows and all that. No, man, those shots were borderlines, okay? So end the story. No more excuses, okay? But if you want to talk about dirty tactics, let's talk about the fact that Sergey Kovalev, this man right here, was constantly rabbit punching Andre Ward every time they were in the clinches, huh? Once again, tying his man up, putting him in headlocks and chokeholds in the clinches so that way he couldn't get his punches off. That's what this dude was doing, all right? But Andre Ward didn't complain about that. He was fighting on. Okay? Now, to me, after the 6th round, you mentally gave up after Ward hit you with that crunching body shot with the right hook. You knew then, it's like, you know what, fuck it. I can't fight this guy on the inside, man. I'm just trying my best to get through this fight as the best way I can. That's what you did. You mentally quit, man. Well, not exactly mentally quit, but you mentally gave up. You know? So I'm tired of you with all these goddamn excuses and you being dismissive of Andre and what he was able to do to you, man. The same goes to all these goddamn so-called Kovalev fans who was hoping that Andre Ward would die in the fight last night, which is despicable behavior by you guys, hoping that Kovalev would really do, or Kovalev would do permanent damage to this man who has a family, by the way. All right? Yeah, hoping that he get knocked out is one thing. Okay, fine, that's boxing. People love to see knockouts. But to see a man have his career ended or have him be killed by another guy just because you have so much disdain and hatred for one fighter, it's sickening, man. I mean, God damn it, guys. I mean, shit. I mean, a kid, I just don't understand why does Andre Ward get this type of criticism? I don't get it. Jesus Christ. I mean, Floyd Mayweather, I despise the dude, but do I ever go out and wish that he ever got killed in the fight? No. No. I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't go that far. Dude, it's just like, people just don't have no integrity whatsoever, dude. It's like they always, all right, let me just get back to this topic at hand, all right? Because I don't want to get thrown off here, because I'm going to make a separate video about these fringes of people that were hoping that Andre Ward was going to get killed in that fight last night. But anyways, the fact is that there is no more excuses, okay? You lost, accept it like a man, accept it like a fighter that you claim you are, okay? Plain and simple. And as for Kathy Duba, her ass getting up on that podium trying to be condescending to the fans and the independent reporters out there at the post-fight press conference, telling them to shut up when she first had said that it's unfortunate that we lost the fight by 4 low blows, and they booed the hell out of her when she made those comments, and rightfully so, because first of all, if you have an objective opinion, Kathy, which you won't because this is your fighter, so you're gonna be very subjective about it. Your fighter pretty much quit. He mentally gave up when he was taking those body shots, okay? And you didn't want to allude to the fact that this guy was fucking rabbit punching Andre Ward. You want to talk about 30 tactics whatsoever, why don't you point that out? Put him in vice grips and headlocks when they were in the clinches, once again. All right? So, you guys need to cut this out, man, particularly Sergey Kovalev. Cut the shit out, man. If you're going to continue your career, you need to start accepting the fact that you have flaws in your game, just like everybody pointed out that you did in the first fight. And you have more flaws in this fight, okay? Because you kept yourself wide open every time you try to throw body shots. That's the one thing you couldn't do. You couldn't protect yourself. So that's your problem, okay? I'm at this point that, you know what? I don't have no sympathy for the man. I did have sympathy about how Kathy Duva's treating him, but I'm not sure about that now. I really don't. Because I'm like on the fence here because of his attitude and his behavior, his multiple excuses on how he lost the first fight and more excuses how he lost the second fight is despicable. But I will say this though, at least he did give Ward some credit though. He did say, you know what, he was stronger this time. He was much more faster this time. I'll give him credit for that. He was a lot better. But he's a dirty fighter. I mean, yeah, again, I have to point out, what about the rabbit punches you were throwing at him? Huh? What do you call that? Dirty. Huh? And another thing I want to address too is that I was going to save my reservations after this second fight. Sergey Kovalev, if he really believed that he won the first fight, and I have to go back to that, all right? If he really believed that he won the first fight, then why the hell did you go ask your manager at the end of the first fight did you think I won the fight? Did you think I won the fight? Why did you call Bernard Hopkins and ask Tim's opinion on your performance? Did he think that you won the fight? Dude, that doesn't sound like a guy who was confident that he was robbed. That sounds like a guy that he knew he was in a tough fight. He knew he was getting breaking down. He was getting worn down. So he knew in his heart that he somehow could have lost that fight. Making all these excuses. Oh, I overtrained. Oh, I admit I gassed out after the 5th round. Oh, I overestimated Andre Ward. All these goddamn excuses, man. All these goddamn excuses. Yet you hired a new Russian strength and conditioning coach to help your stamina, and then you were trained up at Big Bird to help, to improve in that as well. But apparently that didn't help you because, again, it's like, this is what I always say. Sometimes people have stamina. Sometimes people don't. It's natural. It's natural ability, man. If you got it, you don't got it. The fact is, you don't have stamina, man. Point blank, period. Because you don't. I think in your career, you haven't been training for 12-round fights. You were trained to be a knockout artist, and that's what happens to most knockout artists. Is they train for short rounds of fights, and whatnot. I mean, that's the way it is. So all I gotta say is that accept the loss, accept it like a man, deal with it. The better man beat you last night. All right. Now, I have to repeat myself. The only thing I will agree on is that the stoppage was premature. You should at least got a chance. You should have gotten an 8 count by Tony Weeks. Apparently, you didn't. But I'm going to look at it from Tony Weeks' perspective, even though he admit that he was wrong for the stoppage. But if you look at it from real time, it seems like to me that you wasn't defending yourself. You wasn't throwing anything back. So that's probably why he stopped the fight. That's probably what he thought from that standpoint. But then again, from my view, I thought he should have gave you a chance. At least gave you an 8 count. But it is what it is, man. Now, the bottom line is, stop fucking being in denial and give the man, your opponent, credit when credit is due. Do that, all right? And stop making all these goddamn excuses on how you perform, all right? And another thing I got to say, too, is that before I close out this video, I got to give a shout out to the brother, Nassim Richardson, because he was one of the few in the minority who actually called, who called it. He predicted that Andre Ward was going to win this fight by stoppage. TKO. Wow, imagine that. Imagine that. Now, as for the Kovalev fans, you guys got to move on. It's done. Deal with it. The sport will live on. You still have your other favorite fighters out there. You have your Lomachenkos. You still have your Golovkins. So, deal with it. All right, and you still have your Alexander Ustiks as well. So yeah, that's all I got to say. I'm out.